Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. I hope you're all good. This is actually the first episode I'm recording since having the new baby, because the episodes you've listened to previously, I recorded while I was still pregnant. Actually, no, I'm telling a lie. The last episode is the first episode I recorded since being pregnant, but that was an interview with someone. This is the first solo episode. And I love that it's the first solo episode because I'm talking about change. I'm talking about how hard change is, especially in our lives, in our careers, and how we can navigate that change. Because I know so many people want to change things in their life, but feel absolutely stuck. So yeah, change is hard AF, and you know what the AF stands for. So let's get into it. When it comes to change, let's be honest, nothing gets better if you don't embrace it. Nothing. Because even if you don't want to change things, life is made up of change. Sometimes we're forced into change, whether we want it or not. And for someone like me, who's a little bit of a control freak, if I can help control the change or transition myself through the change, it feels better. So I like to try and be in charge of the change as much as possible. Because let's be real, life is always throwing you curveballs. You can't be in control of anything, really. As much as I think I'm in control, I'm not. And none of us are. But there are things we can control. You hear it all the time, control the controllables. And this applies to your career and your life. So quick life update before I jump into it. The last 12 to 18 months of my life have been insane. Everything I've previously prayed for has happened, but has happened all at once. And that's why I wanted to talk about this episode. Because we'll say we want things, we'll ask for things, we'll be wishing for things, we'll be praying for things. But we want it in our time when we want it and the way we want it. Now, again, I said I got everything I'd been praying and asking for, but it happened all at once. I got married, I had a wedding overseas, had a baby, and I'm getting ready to move. This is a lot to happen in 12 to 18 months. Everything's happening at once. My daughter also started university during that time, my oldest daughter. So there was that transition, her moving out of home, going to live out, and me dropping her off. There's been a lot of change. Although these are all things I wanted, it's overwhelming when they all happened at once. I thought things would be spaced out a little bit, get married, have a year or so before I got pregnant, drop my daughter to uni, didn't think I'd drop off one child and then get pregnant with another within a month. It's a lot. So, although you pray and you ask for something, it can still be overwhelming and scary. And sometimes that's the part people avoid. They're like, well, if this happens, then this might happen and then this might happen. And then you worry about it. I just wanted things to slow down. I was like, I just need things to slow down so I can catch my breath. But actually, I had to embrace what I feel like was chaos, because this is all the change that I had been asking for. And now I also understand why God hadn't given it to me earlier, because I would not have been ready. But things in my life had started to position themselves. I only work part-time in corporate. You guys know I work 2 days a week in the corporate world. The rest of the time I run my coaching business. Prior to that, I was working 3 or 4 days in corporate. So it's a much easier transition because I wasn't working every single day. So there was a lot of movement that could happen. I had more annual leave. So going on holiday and getting married overseas was easier. There were things that happened before we got here. But I had to start making those changes before the things I wanted happened. So what do you want currently? And what have you started to put in place for when they happen? And also, remember, we've spoken about this before, but timelines. I asked for all these things and none of them had happened. But when they did, it was an avalanche. They happened all at once. So when I tell you to stop worrying about timelines, I need you to stop worrying about timelines. Anything that's for you will never pass you. And if you need a reminder about being the exception to the rule, go back to that episode. It's a few episodes back. I want you to remember things can happen so quickly. You could be waiting for something for 5, 10 years, and then it all happens at once. So stop saying it has to happen right now, because even if it happens in 3 years, you are still going to be just as happy as if it happened right now. Because do you think that I'm disappointed that I had a baby later? Like, there's a 19-year gap between my girls. But do you think I'm disappointed? I'm not disappointed. Things happen when they're meant to happen. I always knew they would happen. Just hold on to that. Hold on to the fact that you know things will happen. But let me ask you, are you prepared for everything that you've asked for? Because that was something that really hit home for me. I asked for all these things, but was I really prepared? Like, things have changed drastically. Like, I'm talking to you guys while my baby is asleep in the other room and I'm watching her on the monitor, hoping that she doesn't wake up, and then I have to cut this short and run off. What I'm saying is, are you prepared for the change? And not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Are you ready for the things you're asking for? Like, I'll tell you all the time, I'm always asking for millions of pounds. I'm like, I just give me a couple million, I'll be good. But am I physically and mentally prepared for that? Am I prepared for how people will treat me? Because let's be real, people treat you differently if they find out you have money. Have I decided what that money is for and how I'm going to utilize it when I get there? Am I physically ready for that money? And I'll tell you yes. I will tell you yes all day. But if I sit back and think about it, am I emotionally ready for it? So are you prepared? If not, start thinking about it. What's one thing you want to change in your life? Is there anything currently in your life that would need to change to be able to support that? Like for me, having a child, a newborn, a small baby, a lot of things had to change. I'm used to getting up and going. I have a 19-year-old. I don't have to worry about anyone else but myself. I had to start to slow down and prepare for the fact that I can't just pop up and go on holiday tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to travel 6 times a year like I usually do. I'm going to have to sit down for a minute. Am I ready? The only way to be ready was to enjoy the travel beforehand, to be outside, to do a lot of stuff, to spend a month overseas. There was a lot of things I needed to do to be mentally, physically ready. Was I in good health? I was doing acupuncture before I got pregnant. I was working out way more than I've probably ever worked out in my life. Was I physically ready? Like, what are you doing to get ready? Remember, if you want to improve something in your life or you're unhappy with anything in your life, only you can change it. A lot of the time we sit around waiting for something to happen or like a sign, like to say like, oh, if this happens, then it will be easier for me. We all want the easy route. We all want the easy option, but you are the start of that. Sometimes things will start showing up in your life to help you make things feel smooth sometimes, but you are the start. You have to get ready and prepared. You have to start making moves if you want something to change. For instance, if your job or money isn't helping you build the life you want, what are you doing about it? Especially the money side, because let's be honest, life is not free. We wish it was, but life costs. So if your money isn't where you want it to be, but you want to change something in your life, like you want to be able to work part-time, have you even considered asking for a pay rise? Or are you the person who's like, I know my boss ain't going to give it to me? Have you asked? Have you tried? Have you got your receipts ready? Have you got your results ready? Have you even gone and had the conversation? If that's not the case, have you looked at other jobs that pay the same in your industry so you can level up? Have you networked with people to try and find out about jobs that might be available that will pay you more so that you have the money to start building the life you want? I hear people tell me all the time, I want to invest, I want to save, but I feel like I don't make enough money. Firstly, you do, because if your gas bill went up tomorrow, you'd find that extra £5, £10, £20, because trust me, my electric bill doubled recently. I had to find that money. It's no different. We're not going to suddenly be like, I'm going to do that electricity. Yeah, you might change companies, but if the bill goes up and you've got no choice, you have to figure it out. Why can't you figure out £5 a month for savings just to get you started? And then that £5 can become £50 and that £50 can become £500. And I know you're listening thinking £500, Adele, how? I never thought I'd ever be able to save £500 a month. And then I did. But I didn't start off at £500 a month. Started off at 5, then 10, then 50. Then I realized 100 was pretty easy. Then 150. Then I jumped to like 300. But I could only do that from negotiating better salaries, leaving jobs that couldn't afford me and going where they could afford me so that I could have that extra money. And instead of spending that extra money on life, maybe starting saving some of it, investing some of it so that money can make money. What are you doing if you are not happy right now? Your job should help you build the life you want outside of work. Let's be real, everyone doesn't want a dream job. Some people don't have a dream job even in mind, but what they do have is a dream life. Is your job and your money helping you build that dream life? If they're not, then what are you doing to change it? And that's exactly what I was talking about, getting prepared. And what are you ready to do now to start changing things? Have you changed any of your habits in the last 6 months? That's a big one, because your current habits have produced your current life. And when I say change your habits, I'm not talking about waking up at 5 a.m. Listen, I hear all them, like, if you want to be successful, you need to wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning. Listen, I can barely function at 5 or 6. I have a small child right now and I'm struggling when I've got to get up early in the morning. So please understand, I'm not talking about waking up at stupid o'clock and all those. I'm talking about habits. Like, you say you want to lose weight, but when was the last time you just took a walk around the block? Forget about working out. When was the last time you chose a healthier option? Like, you didn't get the donut. When was that time? When was it you had the flapjack instead of the donut? Let's talk about what your habits are. You say you want better money, and I've just said it. When last did you ask for the pay rise? When last did you look back at all the things you do for your job and calculate how much money you've actually made them or saved them, or how many customers you've brought on, and then gone and had a conversation and said, because of this, I deserve more money? And if you can't get it, ask why. And then if they say, well, we want you to achieve this, and then you achieve that thing, and then they still don't give it to you, thinking about leaving and going somewhere else where they can pay you what you deserve. What habits have you changed? Instead of watching the Netflix show in the evening, looking for the new job, or doing your research for the side hustle that you've been saying you're going to start for how many years? Again, what are your habits? It's easy for us to do the things that are normal, get home, watch the Netflix show, or just be so tired from work, we're like, I can't do anything else. Yes, you can. Because if you don't change your habits, you don't change the destination that you're going to. You will continue to be exactly where you are. In the past 30 days, what have you worked on that's towards your goals? 30 days, that's the last month. What have you done that's towards your life goals? Career or life? What have you done? Like, one of my followers, when they saw that I got married, was like, oh my gosh, I want this one day. Like, I'm your age, like, and I want to get married. People always like, if you don't do it in your 20s or early 30s, it will never happen. And I was like, I never believed that. I never bought into that. Why? Who said? So suddenly you get to 35 and everything's a write-off. Absolutely not. What, because society said so? No. But then I said to her, what have you done in the last 30 days towards that goal? And it's not about searching for another person. It's about, have you worked on yourself? My biggest thing when I wasn't in a relationship was, if I get into a relationship, what do I bring to the table? We all have a list of what we want from the other person. But think about it, that person probably has a list too. Are you the best version of yourself? Because if you're not, who would want to pick you up? Because you're waiting for someone else to be the best version of their self. So are you the best version of yourself? How do you argue? How do you communicate? What can you do for someone else? What do you believe in? Because your beliefs are going to be important, because will they align with that person's belief? Love is great, but respect, loyalty, communication, compatibility, these are all things needed in a relationship. So when that person said to me, I hope this happens for me one day, I was like, you don't have to hope. You need to think about, like, what are you doing to work on yourself? Because she said to me, how did you find this person? I didn't. I worked on myself, and then the person found me, to be honest. But I was doing things to change, because I'm not the best communicator. I know you guys will be like, really, Adele? You talk for a living. You're here on podcast chatting away. You do coaching. But when it comes to my relationships, I would struggle to communicate the things I want. And I would either get angry or I would say nothing at all. And that's not what I wanted to do when I moved into my next relationship. Like, who you are affects the things you want in life. So what have you done? What habits have you changed? And what have you done in the last 30 days to work towards your goal? You want a new job. Have you updated your CV? Something as simple as that. In the last 30 days, did you update your CV? Did you even look at your CV? Do you even know where your CV is? But you're saying you want a new job. This is what I mean in the last 30 days. Even if you don't want to start looking for your job till January, have you still pulled out your CV? Because what in January is going to come, then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I still haven't done my CV. The next thing you know, it's February, you still haven't done your CV. Like, what are you doing towards your goals? And above everything, have you made room for the new things and let go of something? Because sometimes you've got to let go of things so something better can come. And I'm not saying quit your job. Please, no one do that. Don't quit your job without something else lined up. But mentally, have you decided that Listen, the job's not going to stress you out no more because you're not going to be there. In the next 6 months, you won't be there. So you're not letting it feel overwhelming. You just go to work, you do what you need to do, you do enough that you stay employed and you leave. That's changing something. That's making room for something else because now you've got the mental capacity to start thinking about other things. Have you made room for the new thing and let something else go? Like, for me to make room for my new life that I've got, I had to be willing to give up some of my independence because I have to now consider my husband in things. I have to consider my new baby and everything. My baby's the boss. So to be honest, I have no independence, let's be real. But I had to be ready to give that up. I wasn't ready a few years ago. I thought I was done. I thought I was having one child and that was it. I thought I was done. I had to mentally get prepared. I then had to be like, am I ready physically? Because I don't have to run up and down after a kid again. Am I ready physically? But I had to make room for that. I had to think about where I live. Is my house going to be big enough? If not, started already talking about moving way before I'd even decided that we were going to start talking about being pregnant. Like, I wanted to move, like start looking at homes, whatever it is that you need to do for your next step. Have you made room for it? A lot of people will say they want a relationship, yet your house is pack out. If someone was to come and move in with you, it wouldn't happen. Or you're going to move out when you meet that person. Do you have your half of the deposit? Listen, you might meet the great man who pays for everything. But at least if you get your half of the deposit, if you meet the man who decides to pay for everything, you can use your deposit to invest. But what have you made room for? How have you opened up your space? How have you opened up your life? You want this new career. What does this new career require of you? Like I always said I wanted to work part-time in corporate. I didn't want to work full-time. But that required me letting go of the thought that part-time work doesn't pay as well as full-time work. I had to let go of that thought. I had to let something go to let something new in. And I realized there were people doing part-time jobs getting paid as much as people on full-time work. And I said, so how do I get a part-time job with full-time money? But I had to let go of the thought that that's not possible. I had to let go of like my friends telling me, Adele, come on, you're not being realistic. I had to let go of like society saying to you, no, you got to work full time to make certain types of money. And then finding out that there's hundreds, probably thousands of people out here making like 70, 80, 90, 100K working 3 days a week, working 2 days a week. I had to let the concept go that you can only make that type of money if you're working yourself to the bone. There are people earning 40K working 5 days a week, some people doing 10-hour days. And there are people making that same amount of money working 2-3 days a week. So I had to let go of that. Sometimes you have to create room for the things you want. You have to create room either by physically creating room for the things, like physically changing something in your life to allow something new in, or mentally changing something. But change has to happen. And I know none of this is easy. And that's why I say do things in small steps. Do one thing in the next 30 days towards your goal. Just one thing. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Like if you want to change jobs, look at your CV. You don't have to book interviews. You don't have to like do all the things. Do one thing at a time. When I start coaching with my clients, I'm not like saying, right, we've got to do all the things on day one. No. You just got to start doing one thing differently. Because when you start doing one thing differently and you realize how easy it is to do that one thing, then you'll be happy to start the next thing. But if you do nothing differently, you keep making the same decisions. You'll keep doing the same thing. So you'll keep taking the same actions and you will constantly keep getting the same results. Your decisions influence your actions. Change your decisions, it will change your actions. The way you change your decisions is by changing your habits, changing your thought process. You don't change it overnight. You change one thing. You think to yourself, okay, what's something that would help me right now? Like, what do I want in life? And again, this is career and life. What do you want from life? What career do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? I had such a refreshing conversation recently with someone, and she literally was like, this is where I want to be in the next 5 years. I would love if you can support me to get there. How can I plan it out? And it was so refreshing because she was ready. She knew that you can't do it overnight, but what can I do today so that 5 years from now, I'm happy? The me in the future can look back and say, thank you for doing all that back then, because now look where we are. I never thought I would have investments and have money that was making money. I never even knew anything about investing. It wasn't something that was talked about in my house. All that was talked about in my house was get a job and pay the bills. Like I don't come from much. So it was just get a job, pay the bills. I never thought that you could work part-time and get full-time money. Do you know how much you can evolve over the years? But make a decision. What do you want? If you listen to this and you're like, I want to work part-time on full-time money, wicked. What are you doing to get there? Have you researched jobs where that is actually something that you could do? Can you do it in your current industry? But it's just that you don't know any companies yet. So you need to look at companies who pay way better. Because if they pay way better, then you can afford to do less days. So let's think about it like that. What are you doing today to make that change? I've got so many podcasts that can help you with this. I am back at work now after having my long break, like for the summer. Guys, I always have a break for summer, but obviously this year was a bit different. My baby was born in June, so I've been off since June. I'm back officially at work now. And if you do want to book a consultation call with me, either head over to my website, atandrich.com, or click the link in my LinkedIn page or my Instagram bio. Book a consultation, let's chat, let's see if I can help you, especially now, this time of year, because once November, December hits, it's going to go quiet again. If you're considering working with me in the new year, it's good to book a consultation in advance so that you can get a spot, because obviously I'm back to work, but I am not back full-time to the coaching business. I am back part-time because I have a tiny little baby, guys. Anyway, I hope this episode has helped you realize that yes, change is hard as hell, but there are things we can do differently to help us get started on the change. And remember, I'm going to go back to this, timelines. If you've given up on something because you think it's too late or it's not going to happen, I want you to revisit it. Because as long as you keep trying, it will happen. As long as you don't give up, it will happen. Timelines aren't real. We are not all going to achieve things at the same time. There are 20-year-olds that have built businesses and sold them and are currently millionaires. There are 40-year-olds only just doing that now. There are 50-year-olds doing that. There are 50-year-olds getting married. There are 20-year-olds getting married. What I'm saying to you is everyone can have the things they want, but maybe not in their timeline. And the only time you don't get what you want is when you give up. You get one life. Keep going after all the things you want. Happiness has no expiration date. So neither is there an expiration date on your goals. Get rid of the timeline and decide what you want and start making moves towards it. Anyway, if this episode helped you and you think it might help someone else, make sure you share it, and I will speak to you on the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.